What if I told you that 90% of probiotic supplements on the market are basically expensive toilet bowl cleaner? They flush right through your system without doing any good. Today, we're diving deep into probiotics and prebiotics and why most probiotic supplements are useless, why CFU counts don't matter as much as you think, and why feeding your existing gut bacteria might actually be more beneficial than adding new ones. Because here's what the supplement industry doesn't want you to know. Your gut already contains trillions of bacteria, and the key might not be adding more, it's creating an environment where the good ones thrive and crowd out the bad ones. I'm Dr. Will, family wellness chiropractor, and I've been helping families unlock their God-given healing potential for over a decade. And today we're talking about gut health, the foundation of our immune function, brain development, and overall wellness that most families are approaching completely backwards. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your expensive refrigerated probiotics might be a waste of your money, which specific bacterial strains actually have good research behind them, and why prebiotics, the food for those gut bacteria, might actually be the missing piece in your family's health puzzle. Because here's what most parents don't realize. Your child's behavior, focus, immune function, and even their mood are directly connected to what's happening in their gut. Get this right, and you're setting them up for lifelong health. Get it wrong, and you're missing one of the most powerful tools for family wellness. Most products lining the shelves are scientifically questionable at best and completely useless at worst. Here's the major issue. Most probiotic bacteria die before they ever reach the large intestine, where they need to do all of their work. They have to survive stomach acid with a pH of 1.5 to 2, bile salts, and digestive enzymes. Most strains are dead on arrival. So everyone obsesses over their CFU counts, the colony-forming units, thinking that bigger numbers mean better results, hopefully that enough actually get to where they need to go. What the research shows is that specific strain, evidence-based doses actually matter more than just those high counts. A targeted probiotic with 1 billion CFUs of the right strain often outperforms a generic blend with 50 billion or more. It's like the difference between sending 100 highly trained soldiers into battle versus 1,000 untrained conscripts. Numbers do not win, strategy and training do. And here's something that might shock you. Some of the most effective probiotic strains actually don't need refrigeration. Spore-forming strains like Bacillus species are naturally shelf-stable and actually survive stomach acid pretty well, better and compared to the refrigerated lactobacillus strains. And this is why a lot of commercial probiotics, especially the cheaper ones, contain strains that were chosen for ease of manufacturing, not for their therapeutic benefit. They're the bacterial equivalent of grocery store iceberg lettuce, bred for shelf life, not for nutrition. But before we talk about which probiotics actually work, let's dive into what happens when they do work, because the benefits go way beyond just better digestion. Most people think that probiotics help with their bloating and with their irregular BMs, but that's like saying your smartphone helps you tell time. Technically, it's true, and it's also a great calculator, but you're missing 99% of what it does. Your gut contains more neurons than your spinal cord and produces 90% of your body's serotonin. That's the happy hormone in the body. The gut-brain connection is so strong that some scientists even call the gut our second brain. Research shows that specific probiotic strains can help reduce anxiety, improve mood, and even help with ADHD symptoms in children. We're literally talking about influencing our brain chemistry through our gut bacteria. And here's something that most parents do not realize. 70% of our immune system is located in our gut. The bacteria in our gut helps to train our immune cells on how to respond to threats. And studies have shown that children with diverse, healthy gut microbiomes actually have fewer allergies, get sick less often, and even perform better on cognitive tests. We're not just talking about avoiding tummy troubles. We're talking about optimizing brain function and immune response. One of the biggest problems here is the overuse of antibiotics, because every course of antibiotics wipes out both the good and the bacteria in the gut. And this sometimes takes months or years to fully recover. Without proper restoration, you're left with a compromised immune system and increased susceptibility to repeat infections. So if gut health is this critical, how do we choose probiotics that actually work instead of just expensive placebo pills? Here's where most people go wrong. They think that all probiotics on the shelf are the same. There are 3 main categories that are supported by the research. Lactobacillus strains. These help support the immune system. Rhamnosus, and I know that I'm going to pronounce most of these wrong, but Rhamnosus is one of the most researched probiotic strains in the world, and it's been shown to help reduce respiratory infections in children by up to 25% and decreases the durations of an upset tummy. KCI Shirota is proven to enhance immune function and reduce upper respiratory tract infections, and Acidophilus helps support digestive health and nutrient absorption. Bifidobacterium strains are for brain health. Longum has been shown to help reduce anxiety and improve stress response in both kids and adults. Breve supports infant brain development and may help improve focus in children with ADHD. And Lactus enhances our immune system and reduces inflammatory markers. And finally, the spore-forming strains. Bacillus coagulans survives stomach acid naturally, reduces bloating, and helps support digestive comfort. Bacillus subtilis produces beneficial enzymes and naturally helps crowd out the harmful bacteria in our gut. Each of these strains has specific peer-reviewed research showing measurable health benefits. Generic probiotic blends that don't list what's in them may not have research backing whatsoever. And effective doses vary by strain. The research typically shows that somewhere between 1 and 10 billion CFUs of a specific strain is the most effective on our gut health. But here's what might surprise you. Even the best probiotics might not be as important as feeding the bacteria you already have. What if I told you that feeding your existing gut bacteria might be more powerful than adding new ones? That's exactly what prebiotic research is now starting to show. Prebiotics are the specific types of fiber that our body's cells cannot digest, but the bacteria can. So prebiotics work in tandem with any probiotic you take. It acts as the nutrition and the food for those gut bacteria, helping the right ones flourish. Here's the thing, your gut already contains hundreds of different bacterial species, maybe even thousands. So instead of trying to add more, prebiotics help strengthen and multiply and grow the beneficial strains that you already have, helping crowd out the harmful bacteria naturally. Higher intakes of dietary fiber are linked with less cardiovascular disease, and fiber plays a key role in gut health. But prebiotics go way beyond just regular fiber. They specifically feed the beneficial bacteria like the bifidobacteria and the lactobacilli. And there's 4 key types of fiber. Inulin is found in garlic, onions, and asparagus, and it helps feed bifidobacteria specifically. Fructooligosaccharides are found in bananas, artichokes, and these help support the lactobacillus bacteria. And galacto-oligosaccharides are found in beans and legumes, and these help reduce harmful bacteria while supporting beneficial ones. And finally, there's resistant starch. This is found in cooled potatoes and green bananas, and this helps produce beneficial short fatty chain acids. So if probiotics are like planting new seeds in the garden, prebiotics are like providing the perfect soil, the water, and the fertilizer for the plants that are already there. You can plant all the seeds that you want, but without the proper support, they will not survive or thrive. So when you combine specific probiotics with their preferred foods, prebiotics, you get what researchers call a symbiotic effect. The whole becomes greater than the sum of the parts. And you can get prebiotics from foods like garlic and onions and asparagus and green bananas, but most families don't eat enough of these consistently. So targeted prebiotic supplements can help bridge that gap, especially if you're not getting enough fiber in your diet. So now that we understand both sides of the equation, let's talk about putting this together into a practical strategy. Here's how I've actually implemented this into our family's health strategy. We take a 3-pronged approach. Diet is number 1. Of course, you have to have a healthy diet and it needs to have plenty of fiber. We also make sure that we add some fermented foods into our diet 3 to 4 times a week. We have coconut yogurt with live cultures. We make sure that we have sauerkraut in the fridge. Occasionally we'll get some kimchi. We don't do a whole lot of kefir. We also make sure that we get plenty of prebiotic-rich foods daily, like garlic and onions and asparagus and artichokes, and even slightly green bananas, which are great in a smoothie. Aim for 30 or more different plant foods per week to feed our bacterial diversity, and aim for at least 30 grams of fiber a day for adults. Also, we do supplement. We choose probiotics with research-backed strains with the appropriate amount of CFUs. We make sure that there's some spore-forming strains to make sure that we can, help survive our stomach acid. And when we're struggling to get enough fiber in our diet, I will actually use some resistant starch fiber powders, in our smoothies to help boost that up. We also want to make sure that anytime we take a probiotic, we mix it up every 3 to 6 months so that we don't just get some bacterial monotony in our system. As far as lifestyle is concerned, we want to minimize unnecessary antibiotic use. And when you do need to use them, you need to plan for some intensive gut restoration. We have to manage our stress because chronic stress decimates the beneficial bacteria. We have to get adequate sleep. Our gut bacteria might actually follow a circadian rhythm just like ourselves. We also want to make sure that we limit artificial sweeteners and excess sugar, and because that can disrupt the gut microbiome as well. Some functional medicine practitioners actually offer comprehensive stool testing to identify exactly which bacteria you have and which ones you're missing. And while I personally don't do this myself, it can take the guesswork out of supplementation, especially if you're struggling with some major issues. Like most natural healing processes, gut health improvement happens gradually over the course of 4 to 12 weeks or more. It's not overnight. You're rebuilding an entire ecosystem, which takes time and consistency. So some people talk about kombucha and yogurt like they're magic bullets for gut health, but there's a more nuanced reality to it. Most commercial yogurts contain 2 to 3 beneficial strains in relatively low quantities, plus a ton of sugar that feeds all the harmful bacteria in the gut. Greek yogurt with live cultures can be beneficial, but it's not a complete gut health solution. And kombucha claims to have beneficial bacteria and yeast, but the amounts vary wildly between the brands and the batches. And that's a nice addition to our gut health protocol, but should not be the primary strategy. Here's the fermented foods hierarchy that I look at. Most beneficial are going to be sauerkrauts, kimchi, miso, and tempeh. These have great, diverse bacteria, and they're often minimally or at least traditionally processed. Moderately beneficial would be kefir and yogurt with live cultures, and these are good, but often have added sugars that reduce the benefit. And the least are often going to be kombuchas and commercially fermented foods. These have very inconsistent counts, and they are often pasteurized, which literally kills all the bacteria inside. Include fermented foods as part of a broader approach and strategy, but don't rely on them exclusively unless you're eating them every single day. Think of them as the supporting cast, not the lead actor. I believe that when God put you together, He didn't make mistakes. You were designed to be healthy. He designed our bodies with complex microbiomes that work in harmony when we provide the right environment and nutrition. But He also gave us the wisdom to understand that modern life kind of messes that up. So remember this, most probiotic supplements fail because they contain the wrong strains in the wrong amounts without any survival mechanisms. Specific research-backed strains matter way more than super high CFU counts. Prebiotics might be more beneficial because they feed the beneficial bacteria that you already have, and that might be more important than adding new ones. And a comprehensive approach, having a targeted probiotic, making sure that we've got prebiotic support, and adding some fermented foods works way better than only doing one of those. So gut health matters because it impacts our brain function, immune response, and our overall wellness way beyond just our digestion and good BMs. So your homework, start with a prebiotic. Add one fiber-rich food to your daily routine. Garlic in your cooking, slightly green banana in your smoothie, asparagus with dinner. Feed the good bacteria you already have before worrying about adding more. And if you want, add targeted probiotics. Choose products with named research strains rather than just generic blends with high CFU numbers. Look for spore-forming strains if you want something that's shelf-stable and effective. And if you'd like to check out the supplements that I personally use for my own family and might recommend, affiliate links are below and in the description and in the pinned comments. They'll save you at least 10% on your order, and they'll help support my coffee cravings. Now, if this tickled your brain cells in the best of ways, hit like and subscribe below. My goal here is simple: help families discover real health and get firmly rooted in their wellness. And here's your dad joke for sticking all the way to the end with me. Why did the yogurt take an overseas vacation? It wanted to get cultured.